Last time on whatever this is, whatever the heck you guys are doing, in the
Our best.
in the highest level of the First Light, in the office of Dryden Voss, you all had a melee, a skirmish with Dryden Voss's bodyguards as Hondo and Dryden Voss tussled in the middle of the melee. As just double crosses happened. These things happen when you're in this business. In the middle of it all, you all were, most of you were injured at least a little. It was a harrowing fight, but you all managed to get out unscathed and +1 set of Mandalorian armor that was on display in Dryden Voss's office. So, grand theft, if it's a expensive piece of antiquity.
Which the impression was that it was.
Grand theft protection?
Grand.
I have some news for you. It doesn't count as grand theft if a marginalized people takes back a cultural artifact that was fucking stolen from them.
That depends on who makes the laws.
Hey, have you ever seen Black Panther?
And unfortunately, we're under the Empire, so...
Damn, you're sure right. Fuck.
Yeah.
They say these Empire got hands.
Damn, these colonizers got hands.
It's true.
Hey, Justin. Yeah? Have you ever seen Black Panther?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, good to know.
Just wanted to know. Just wanted to be sure.
So, okay.
All right.
I thought just wanted to
we have
clarify.
watched and listened from the mountains. That's my favorite
But
thing.
now
ever.
we have
I say it all the
escape.
time. Yes, you managed to get back to Hondo's ship, fly away scot-free. Dryden Voss was angry. Unbeknownst to you all, though, the ones with any sort of head on your shoulders probably understand that there is now a price on your head.
Oh no. What a nightmare. I wonder what that could be like.
Oh no.
Oh no, my reputation. It's broken.
It's broken. The only person freaking out is Ash because 3 out of 4 of the party is like, yeah, we're being hunted by the Empire, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. Fucking who cares?
Just like, I hate this. I hate every second about this. I hate.
But Hondo, after a little bit of feeling himself, gloating.
No, don't phrase it like that, please.
No, feeling that people know what that means. Doesn't mean what you thought it meant. Shut up.
Still not great. Anyway, continue.
After basking in his glory,
There you go.
For a
There
little
you
bit,
go.
That's better.
and informing his crew of the success and that we're now free of the Red Sun and free to operate as the Onaka Gang once again. And everyone's like, yes. He turns to you all. Says, so, I offered you a favor. You have held up your end of the bargain. Where would you like to go? I'm a free man, with the price on my head, but I'm used to that.
Sherrick 1, please.
He, his face scrunches a little and he rubs his chin. Yes, the mining planet out in the Outer Rim.
The very same.
He, walks over to his chair, looks over the shoulder of one of his men at the nav computer to double-check the galactic map. Almost on the other side of the Outer Rim. It will take a bit, but a promise is a promise.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, you all get some rest. You look worse for wear.
Yeah.
But you did good. I've seen those guards run people through in one swift motion.
I'm gonna go just take the longest nap of my life.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this.
You can go back in the cargo hold, but remember, no open flames or hot things near the glitter spice.
Yeah.
We know, don't worry.
So you head down the spiral steps to the cargo hold and into the secured room, and the time is yours because it is going to take a bit. And when he said a bit, I mean 2 days.
Okay, so we get a long rest.
He's gonna have to go the long way. I think Ashy would know this.
Yeah.
He could cut through the mid-rim, or just cut through the galaxy, but the lanes there are more crowded and it's more scrutiny, so he's going to have to crisscross across the outer rim to get where we need to go.
Yeah. I mean, if no one else wants to go first, I'll do one of my things I would like to do.
You go first.
By all means, go first.
After we've rested for a little bit, I guess I don't know if I want to knock both of my things out at once, because I definitely want to look over the shit that I got from one of the ships that was in Maz's stuff. Is that something that we can go over real quick before I do the longer thing, or no?
Do the other thing first.
Okay.
No reason.
I know what that means. Alright, so after we've rested enough, so we're not completely tired, completely out of it, I want to go talk to Kel.
Cal's not really doing a whole lot. He's probably just meditating at this point. Focusing on the Force.
She walks over, hands behind her back, I guess. She's like, Cal, can I ask you some questions?
Oh, absolutely.
She sits down in front of him. Have you ever heard of someone being able to use the Force at, like not being able to use the Force until they're, like, a lot older? Is that a thing? I don't know how this works. Can I have a crash course?
Have I heard of that, DM?
Roll a lore check.
Sure. I'm proficient in that. That's a 7.
7.
I get the feeling I'm going to need to use Hannibal this time. I almost said cannibal. Not incorrect.
The Force works in mysterious ways. Different species are different. So it's not a, like, gasp-inducing, unheard of thing, but you've never heard of it.
Well, it's not something that I've personally run into, no, but I'm not necessarily terribly surprised by it. It's a possibility, I guess. Or perhaps you're just now learning to... Perhaps it's always been within you, and it's simply something you're, I guess, possibly more aware of at this point?
I don't know why it would be more manifest now. Like, I feel like this is something I should have known about if it's been with me the whole time. I don't know.
Well, the Force is alive in its own way. It wouldn't... Perhaps maybe it felt that now was the time that it needed to awaken. I have heard of... And Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know there's only so much I know. I have heard of Jedi that are capable of seeing glimpses into the future through the Force. Perhaps maybe it saw something that made itself awaken you.
Maybe I almost feel like I'm information overload. I don't think I've really been able to take the time to really process all of this, because what even is it? Why do I have it?
Those are good questions that Silver doesn't know how to answer.
Have you heard of midi-chlorians?
Don't
It's
tempt me.
midichlorians? Otherwise it sounds like it's a pool cleaner.
I said what I said.
Have you heard of midichloroform?
Awful.
Terrible. Those are the dark side cells.
Shut the fuck up.
The Force is the powerhouse of the... the midi-chloroform is the powerhouse of the Force.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh god, I hate that. I hate that so much.
I hate that a lot.
That's terrible.
I mean, like, how far can it go? Like, I've seen good and bad done with it. Is there a limit?
There are two sides to the Force. I'm not terribly familiar in the dark side. believe Raestra is more adept at that side of the Force. What I focus on is, as you've seen, I focus on healing. Focus on bringing life to its strongest, to its most adept. I can't necessarily keep anyone from finally passing, but I can have people hold on a little longer. That's how I use the Force. How you use it might be different. And how Raestra uses it is also different.
Because it seems like I can only use it in a dire situation when I'm panicked. Like when we were fighting the Trandoshan.
It's also new to you. It's not something that you've necessarily practiced with. I also had a hard time using the Force when I first started out. There was an entire school of us. A collection of Jedi Masters and younglings.
Wish I could have seen something like that, but growing up in the Outer Rim, there's really no hide, no hair, that sort of thing. Especially where I'm from, it's not a very densely populated planet.
If you would like, I could teach you how to further harness the Force. I've never necessarily taught anyone how to use the Force before, so we'd both be venturing into new territory, but
I'm just not sure if it's something I want to hone. I haven't figured out if that's something for me. I mean, if I have it, it would be better to hone it, right? I mean, because I've always relied on my brain for everything, you know, futzing, tinkering, all that sort of thing, since I was real little. I always thought through my problems rather than relied on instinct.
well, the Force can flow through one's mind just as easily as it can flow through one's heart. I think before you decide anything, I would ask a favor first.
What's that?
I believe you should get Raestra's opinion on this. I think it's important that you have as much understanding of the Force as you can, and I believe only getting one opinion on this, one mind on this new power that you have, when you have multiple available to you, you might not be able to come to an answer that you agree with as easily.
That's true.
Perhaps she can also teach you things that I cannot.
I mean, I don't want to wither people. That doesn't sound like a thing I want to learn how to do. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
It's not something that I wish to learn either, but I believe Raestra is a little... She's not as buried as I believe that she thinks she is. It's something I wish to still discuss with her more.
I think you should.
When the time comes. Perhaps when we arrive to Shirokwan... Shirokwan...
Shirokwan.
Shirokwan?
Shirokwan.
Shirokwan.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have some downtime. I mean, nothing happens there.
I wouldn't jinx it.
I mean, if they start having partying problems, then I probably shouldn't have left to begin with. If everything has gone to shit by the time we get there, then I don't know how I feel about me keeping the whole plan together, but we'll see. Maybe that's a little too egotistical, but...
Well, I believe that regardless of whatever decision you come to, you can, and I do believe you should trust in the Force. It will help you.
So, I'm still not really quite sure what it is, though. It's hard to wrap my head around, if I'm being honest.
It's different for everyone. But I believe that you will see your Force, or at least your way of seeing the Force, very soon.
I hope so. Thank you, Cal.
Of course. Was that okay?
I liked it.
Did I do okay?
I thought it was good.
Okay. I was really unsure if that was on track or not.
No, you were right on point. And everybody, this is the nuance of the world building of Star Wars. There's no right or wrong. Well, there is. The Bindu was wrong. But we learn. But so many people have so many different interpretations. We just know about the Jedi, so.
It's true.
It's very true.
But yeah, I'll let someone else take a turn. I don't want to hog the session.
Count this as a little bit of downtime. Things are going to happen before you reach your destination, but
Gotcha.
consider, like, doesn't just have to be this moment of long rest. It can be at any time.
Gotcha.
Still want to know what's in what I took
Do you want that now or after other people's turns?
after other people's turns.
Alrighty.
You know what?
What?
Because I'm sure Raestra is also focused on the Mandalorian armor and
Incredibly.
has, like, 30 things on her mind. I'm gonna go talk to Hondo.
Oh, okay. You find him in his throne, command seat chair. Ah, yes.
Mr. Onaka.
Calvin.
Kalshin.
I was close.
But closer than some people do get.
What do you need?
Well, I was curious. You said that you had met other Jedi before,
Oh, yes. Captured them.
particularly Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, yes. Captured her, held her up for ransom. She got away.
But you also mentioned that, well, when I pulled up the holodeck, you mentioned that you sounded as if you had met Obi-Wan before, or Master Kenobi.
Kenobi. Yes. Captured him, held him up for ransom. This is starting to get redundant. But it's true.
You seem to come into a theme with these Jedi.
Whatever the money is. Though, didn't try that very often. After the second time, it didn't work out. So, I'm a man who learns from his mistakes.
Well, what exactly happened with Kenobi?
Oh, just good fortune. Count Dooku crash landed where we were. We captured him. Skywalker and Kenobi came to check to see if I was lying. Drugged them, captured them, tied them together. It was a riot. A good time. Back in the good old days during the Clone Wars. He gets a far off look in his eye.
Nyx gets like a shiver
It's odd to
somewhere
me.
in the ship.
It's odd to miss those days. I remember I used to want the Clone Wars to be over as fast as possible.
Oh, don't get me wrong. War sucks. But for people like us, it creates opportunities. You have to seize opportunities when they come.
Yes, I'm certain for people like you, the Clone Wars was a perfect moment.
I even helped Anakin Skywalker once. Asked me to deliver some missile launchers, and I did. Most of them.
Oh, really?
I did take about 3 off the top. But those insurgents
that
had what they
tracks.
needed. It's fine.
I'm afraid I've never had the pleasure of meeting Master Kenobi or Master Skywalker.
There's so many of you. It's hard to keep track. But Kenobi and Skywalker, they were exceptional.
Yeah, well, there were so many of us. You've heard about what happened with, well, many of the Jedi, right?
Oh yes. Traitors to the Empire. Wiped out by the very clones they served with. It's a shame, really. Terrible way to go.
Yes.
That's for people like us, not people like Jedi.
I would argue it's not really for anybody.
I agree, especially not for Hondo. No one's gonna shoot Hondo in the back, right, boys? And everybody in their stations are like, yeah.
One person's doing that, like, gesture with their fingers.
The Gungan navigator.
You're oddly pleasant for someone who has a history of kidnapping Jedi. And a separatist at one point.
I've lived a long time, and you learn it's much better to make friends than make enemies. So you always keep a good demeanor Your best foot forward.
I think that's what we can both agree, Mr. Onaka.
Oh, please. Mr. Onaka was my father. Comiando.
You really did that, didn't you?
I did.
Right. Well, I'll be on the ship if you need any sort of assistance. Possibly passed out.
You turned to step away, and when you said that, like, Hondo's like hand was on his chin, and there's a pause that you took to be like, I'll just go. But your back is turned, and you take like your second step. And he goes, wait. There was one thing.
Yes?
There are a lot of you Jedi. But perhaps I should ask. Did you know a young Padawan? Tholothian. Her name was Katuni. Tholothians are the ones they have like little white tentacles off the back of their head. But humanoid otherwise.
Right. Have I met a Katuni?
Make a lore check. The DC is high though.
That's a 19.
19. You think back, like scan your memory for all the Tholothian Jedi you know of. There was one on the council, but he asked about a young one, so you think back to all the youngling classes you've like walked past, seen being taught by Yoda. You do remember seeing a Tholothian or two, but you never exchanged words with someone named Katuni.
I've met Tholothian. There was one on the council, and there were a couple of younglings when I was still learning how to be a Jedi, but I'm afraid I've never met a Katuni. I'm sorry.
So you don't know what happened? Well, it's pretty obvious, I guess.
When I had escaped, I was simply with my master and her Padawan. My master was a Keldor, and her Padawan was a human, unfortunately. And both perished to the Order.
That is unfortunate.
Unfortunately, I haven't run across any other Jedi since, but I've supposed that other people have been slowly, convincing me that there might be another one out there. If I do run into a Katuni, I will be certain to let you know.
He like tilts his head and blinks once, and then smiles. That is much appreciated. Now go. You are done in the presence of Hondo.
Cal is gonna go. He is gonna go to bed. He is gonna cast Cloud Mind on himself so he can go to bed.
What a trick.
I'm having sleeping problems. I'm just gonna cast a sleep spell on myself.
I would make a joke about, because the Cloud Mind sleep and you have to roll the d8s, but you are the one with the lowest HP, so it doesn't matter.
Max HP is 22, baby! Wizards!
Oh, God.
I edge you out by 1 HP.
I get to make executive calls, because I'm the DM. It is Nyx's turn. We're going down the list.
Oh, sick. Nyx is actually going to go check in on Ray.
She's, spoilers, not doing real good.
Is she in a cabin quarter, or,
There are no cabins. Like I said, there's a little closed off
Yeah.
cargo part that...
A little closed off area.
Yeah.
Our cabin quarters, air quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nyx is gonna take off his helmet as he approaches, place it down, sit across from her.
Yeah.
So, Mandoama,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about it?
She's currently futzing with it as of this moment. It's a little thing.
You were thinking about wearing it?
Well, yeah. It's too heavy to just carry around.
I'll ruin the moment for 2 seconds. It's actually a lot big. You are a big woman, Raestra. This is huge.
Yeah. She would still be like, it's a little big.
Yeah, sorry. Just making that clear for the world building.
Yeah.
I thought, if I remember correctly, I thought you told me that it was disrespectful to wear someone else's armor.
I mean, yeah, but...
Especially without clan permission.
Yeah, but this is an antique. I can't melt this down.
I suppose. So what's the dilemma?
Well, first, it doesn't fit.
Obviously. But that entails something else, doesn't it?
I mean, it's disrespectful to wear somebody else's armor without permission. Just kind of mutters under her breath, like, yeah, that is part of it.
Is there any part of it that, like, she's not holding?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'll give you this for free now that you're examining it, Raestra. I'll do something real quick. No crests, which is weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Are you sure it's real? He's gonna take one of the pieces when he asks that question.
Yep. I know Beskar when I touch it.
This was a big guy. Or gal. Or neither.
I think it was a guy. The shoulders are too wide for it to be a girl.
It's interesting design, too. I haven't seen Mandalorian armor made like this. At least in recent years.
It's old. Hundreds years more, maybe?
Think this might be pre-Mandalorian War?
Probably. It's part of why I don't know what I should do with it.
Well, there's an obvious answer.
She's gonna look at him quizzically.
You bring it back to the people it's taken from.
People it's taken from, it's hundreds of years old. Their clan might not even exist, and there's no crest on it. There's no way for me to know whose it is.
Then it belongs to Mandalore, right?
Yeah.
If it's Beskar, it's Mandalore's.
I mean, she kind of does like an in-between hand gesture. It's complicated.
Well, personally, if you want my opinion, I think it'd be best if we take it back.
That's just
Or
it,
hire
though.
somebody to take it back.
Well, no. It's not leaving my fucking site. But
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that.
I got stolen once. I'm not letting it get stolen again. But it'd be complicated, and she makes a face and she's like, I don't want to bring it back to Mandalore.
Why not?
I don't know all of the details. She kind of makes like a vague hand gesture. She's like, when I was younger, Dad told me that Mandalore wasn't being led in the right direction. So we were living on the moon. But he didn't like the way that she makes a more prominent face. The Watch was doing it either.
Do I know what the Watch is?
Roll a lore check.
I would imagine I would know about, like, the Mandalorian Civil War.
Well, with the timeline, maybe, so... But that's what this lore check is for.
Alright, here we go. One lore check coming up. Ooh. That's a solid 6.
Solid 6. You do know of the Mandalorian Civil War, because, right as you were deployed, troopers were being deployed to Mandalore to free it. You heard Death Watch once or twice, but you, were busy focusing on your own deployment to, hear or read about anyone else's.
Right. The Siege on Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really hoping my squadron would have been put in that one.
Why?
Right in the action of it.
Why would you want... She just makes it like a face, like, why would you want that?
Because the 5-0 Fest were going to be there.
No.
Incorrect. They were on Coruscant.
That's right, they were on Coruscant. Oh, there was but there was a section that was
you're right. There was a little bit. You're right. Sorry. You're correct. Yeah. You've corrected me. I stand corrected. More like Sith, but
yeah. Captain Rex and part of the squadron of the 5-0 Fest were there. I was hoping that me and my group would going to be deployed with them so we could fight with them.
Oh.
In fact, I really wanted to be a member of the 5-0 Fest.
Isn't that just... You can tell she is about to say something, and then she thinks better of it, and she goes, why?
Because the 501st were always there. They were always at the right place at the right time. And when a battle needed to be won, you sent in Skywalker's best. And I wanted to be one of those, one of the best. I wanted to earn those blue stripes.
I mean, you can do it now, can't you?
Ray, make a lore check. Also, while we're on this subject.
Yeah, sure. That is altogether 15.
That's enough. You're familiar with the 501st. Colloquially, you've heard other Inquisitors. They're Vader's first.
Oh. I mean, she kind of fumbles with the thing she's holding. They're still around.
What? Well, I mean, obviously it had to have been debranched after the attack on the Jedi Temple.
She just makes like a more obvious face, and she's like, no.
What do you mean?
They're Vader's first now.
Wait, they're Vader's now?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Why not? It makes perfect sense.
He kind of, he opens his mouth to say something and then takes a moment and then thinks quietly. I don't know. I just thought they'd be better for that.
She
Or
shrugs.
better than that.
Programming's programming. Orders are orders.
And make a perception check. I'm gonna supersede Justin with that. Make a perception check.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. 16.
He noticeably twitches at the phrase "orders are orders."
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're right. Good soldiers follow orders.
I mean, if they were that great before, I would imagine that would probably be why they snagged them.
Yeah, probably. It makes sense tactically. When you have something that's as effective as the 501st, you tend to put them in the most powerful leader, I suppose.
She nods.
I just can't help but think that... Forgive me, but... I can't help but think that the general will be rolling in his grave about that.
Probably. I know I would be if it were me.
Dun, 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 dun.
That laughs in knowing.
Also, quick canon correction. It was Legends that they were called Vader's first. They're called Vader's fist in canon.
Oh, yeah, so then that would be what she called them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vader's fist.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be some kind of cocky to name a unit after yourself.
It wouldn't surprise me. In fairness, it doesn't count as cocky if it's the truth.
And there's one more thing I need to bring up, and don't get mad.
You just see her expression just immediately become neutral. As if, like this is your moment of, oh, fuck. As, her expression just goes stone cold. What?
You dip in a little bit too much.
Oh. Well, yeah, I could have fucking told you that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I know that you always did. That last fight, I was afraid you were going to go over the edge.
You see her, she looks confused and she goes, I flash dried a man. I don't know what over the edge, air quotes, in this context means.
Well, that's my point. when you use the Force, even when you're using that other side of it, you are careful. You weren't careful this time.
I mean, that was on purpose.
Yeah, I realize that it's on purpose. That's why I'm worried.
We needed to get out of there. It was more effective to be... It was just a more effective strategy for me to... She wiggles her fingers. Go all out and either get rid of one of them or terrify them or both than it was for me to dick around and pull punches.
Ray, I can cover your ass.
Yeah, but...
That's our whole scenario. If you need an out, I can get you an out. You don't have to utilize that stuff for you to find an opening.
I'm fine.
You're not.
I'm as fine as I could rationally be asked to be.
Look.
There's nothing more to it. Like, there's nothing... We needed to get out. There were a ton of us. It was just faster.
Listen, I recognize the gravity of the situation. I know why you did it. What I'm worried about is your willingness, your quick willingness to utilize it rather than utilizing every other option first.
I was gonna say, if it makes you feel any better, I don't like the way it feels.
See, and that's why I know that you're still thinking rationally. Because if I heard you say that you enjoy doing it, then the red flags would go immediately off. That's why I'm talking to you about this, because I know you don't like using it. I'm just saying, let me cover your ass first. And if that doesn't work, do what you need to.
I'm making a bigger deal out of this than it needs to be.
It's because we're being actively hunted.
We were being actively hunted before.
We were being passively hunted before.
One of us was being actively hunted. That's not the point. The point is, it's fine. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm not a fucking child. I know the consequences of my own actions.
He'll stand up and he'll put his hand on her shoulder. I'm always gonna have your back, Ray.
Yeah, I know.
So let me cover you.
She just kind of rolls her eyes and just gives up, and she's like, fine. Is that what you want to hear? Shut up.
I'll pat her shoulder, and then I'll take his helmet. Oh, what'd you think of this, by the way?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good look for you.
Thank you. I'm probably gonna have to ditch it the moment we get to get planet side again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be too married to anything right now.
Yeah. I wonder what happened if I would paint it like brown, like camo colored. Do you think it would still be noticeable as a clone armor?
I mean, it's a pretty... She just gestures to it. It's a pretty distinct shape.
Yeah, it is. I just can't get rid of it.
She gestures to the saber. The feeling's mutual.
Yeah. And Nyx will step away.
Woo! Ray, was there anything you wanted to do other than that?
I like the idea of, like, whoever wants to interact with it, it's just her trying to put it on and just being like, it doesn't fucking fit!
Hangs off like you're trying to put on, like, daddy's poncho. It's like, it's a lot.
I don't understand how this could be small. This could be big for you. I mean, oh my lord.
Yeah. She just kind of does a spin in it. It's enormous. How fucking...
Can you fit a Dawitin? Like, what the...
I don't know. The helmet doesn't have any, like, adds to it, so I thought maybe...
What were humans eating back then? Like, holy shit.
Would I...
Yeah.
I was gonna say, would I know if this was back when there were, quotes, real Mandalorians?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you would know and no. Because
Okay.
they were, yeah.
I mean, it's nothing a little... We'd really need to We can probably head to my
A little,
dad's
a
work.
lot.
A little,
She
a lot.
just nods.
We can go to my father's workshop, and we can. Well, you can. 'Cause I know this means a lot to you, but nothing a little bit of adjusting can't fix.
She kind of
Ash,
makes a...
make a tinker check.
I was gonna say, she makes like a hand gesture again, and she's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Well, that's a 2 on the die for a 9. No, it's a 11. I guess.
If Ray lets you put your hands on this Beskar, and you, like, even maybe make Lemmy run a scan, this metal is, impossibly, like, dense and hard. Surprisingly light. Your sensors can't calculate its melting point.
Well, the thing I wasn't talking about melting it, because I know she doesn't want to melt it.
It's made out of, if it's made out of metal, the only way you could adjust it is to melt it and to reforge
take off
it.
pieces. Yeah.
But here's the thing, like I'm looking at it in the chat, and it's a bunch of layered pieces, so there's nothing, like, you could easily, like, relayer it and, like, tighten things up, so it's not like you have to, like, take the whole thing
but how would
apart.
you undo the layers without...
But they're not melted together, they're just draped on top of one another, and they're connected by,
they're
like...
for sure melted together.
No, she's right. They're, if it's, then they'd be tied together with, or they're fastened together, and they are in fact individual plates. But the problem is that, like, for the chest plate alone, it would need to be melted it would need to be melted or cut to be resized. And then you would need to take a bunch of pieces off and then possibly shorten them in order to fit if they were too wide. There's no way to make it fit in a way that it would be combat ready without melting it or taking it completely apart.
So is Raestra just not gonna wear it at all? I know she doesn't want to melt it.
There are places and people who know. Raestra knows.
Yeah. She makes a noise and she's like, well, I don't...
What's the melting point of this thing? Holy shit.
Well, I know when Buir used to work with it, it almost looked like an engine fire, like in a I know what pod racers are.
Jet streams can't melt Beskar beams.
Shut up. Do you have inspiration? Not anymore.
No, I used it. I used it last session. I don't even have one.
You owe Justin 1 inspiration.
It used to, I mean, I don't know if it was that, but it looked like that.
Well, if we can get to a place where you can get this to properly fit you, do you mind if I watch?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind. I don't know if the Forge Master would, but I sure wouldn't. But it's... the only place I can think for sure that would where we'd find people that would know is back home. And I don't know how home is.
Well, I mean that's something we can look up on the HoloNet, right? I got a VPN.
If you want to look up things that are controlled in Empire-controlled space and don't want to be tracked while there's bounties on your heads, use NordVPN.
Also the Imperial-controlled HoloNet.
Mando VPN.
Mando VPN.
I've been slicing since I was 6. It's fine. I can get past the Empire censorship. It's fine.
I can't believe that the Empire blocks cool math games.
Do you want to make a tech check to search the HoloNet?
I mean, if you'll let me, I guess.
Sure.
14.
You go on the HoloNet's major news sites, keyword search Mandalore. Of course, during the era where it was important, get a lot of stuff about the Siege of Mandalore. How it went perfectly and the terrorists were usurped.
She just makes a face.
And after that, like, in all the official sources, there's just not a lot said. It's like, Mandalore's at peace now, under the Empire.
This is fucking useless.
Yeah.
Then you go on, like, Star Wars Reddit, maybe. Do a little bit of digging, see what some people are saying, maybe even with a 14. No, you don't go on the dark web with a 14, but you do find some unofficial sources, some rumor mills, some
There's one
comments.
article about a quirky Kenobi truther.
Yes, there is indeed one, and when you look into the article writer, this appears to be all she writes. So this and other fluff pieces about who senator is sleeping with whom, and
Are they still on this?
no, sorry, everybody shut up. Does Grand Moff Tarkin is gay?
God
The answer
fucking
may
damn it,
surprise.
I was not ready for that one.
I hope Julia listens to this. I hope she would have. Anyway.
I mean,
so
would
anyway-
I know if would I know does Grand Moff Tarkin is gay?
You unfortunately never had the pleasure of meeting Governor Tarkin.
Damn.
So what do I find about Mandalore?
I don't know, man. He's a little fruity. I'd believe that.
What you learn about Mandalore is hearsay about a complete takeover of the government. Not hostile, but, and there is an official word for this, but they put people in power, but they still answer to the Empire.
Oh, a
'Cause
figurehead.
I
A
looked
figure,
it up.
yeah.
I
Yeah?
looked it up. It was because Bo was there for like 20 minutes, and then they put in
Yeah.
someone from Vizsla, I think is the thing.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Or it was a Saxon.
Yeah, it was Saxon. Yeah, it was Saxon
Yeah.
that got put in power instead.
So the official stuff is like, oh, Gar Saxon is their leader, but then you see people speculating about him being a figurehead and some things going on, but there is eerily, with that 14, what you get is an eerie lack of stuff. As if, like, when you pull on the spider's web, there's like a hole instead of anything, and that must mean someone ripped a whole bunch of stuff out.
Is there a picture of Saxon in his armor in that article?
No.
Do I recognize the name at all?
Gar Saxon?
Mhm.
Lore check.
Cool.
I hate all of this. This is very suspicious.
No.
Yeah. And it makes sense that I don't think they were on the moon.
Yeah, that was a 4.
He would have
so
been
no.
not.
Is there anything? I would imagine probably not. Is there anything about the watch?
They were the ones that were usurped, the terrorists
Hmm.
who took over Mandalore and killed Duchess Satine.
She kind of makes a face and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen."
All the
It's
official
unfortunate.
sources say their leader was Tar Vizsla.
Hmm. I mean,
We'll have to be super careful, but if you want to go check out your home, then if we manage to get a ship of our own, then we'll happily fly you there.
I don't know. The main things I'm worried about are. She kind of just sighs and she says, "It's a lot of stuff. I'm worried about what's going on at home. If it's Empire controlled. I mean, Bouillard would take care of us, but I don't want to put him in danger if I don't have to. Especially since." She kind of just sighs and she says, "He wasn't a fan of the watch. And considering that." She starts like, "Well, he wasn't a fan of the watch." And then just looks at Ash and goes, "Because they're a cult. But
Oof.
he didn't like the Duchess either. So with the Empire taking over, I can't imagine he's in a very good spot. Especially considering his work, and I really don't want to put him in it for us if we don't have to. But if there's anyone that's not on Worlds, there'd be no way to find them safely anyway."
I mean, we can always, like, send him a message, right? Like, that's not... I mean,
I don't know if it's safe for him to answer.
You also don't have any contact information. Yeah, you went away as, like, when you were 4, right?
Yeah, and then, yeah, I would imagine actually, because I was about to do that, is where she's like, "Well, I don't think it'd be..." And then it just kind of slowly starts to connect, and you see like something on her face change, and she goes, I don't know how to contact him.
There'll be some way.
I was 3, and they didn't let us speak to our families once we were there. Not right away, anyway. Maybe they would have later, but I don't... And she kind of just... You see her just slowly sit back, and she goes, I don't know if he's even alive. She just kind of, like, runs a hand over her face and, like, quickly changes the subject. I'm sure there's some part of... She makes just groans and goes, I'm sure there's some members of the Watch out there someplace, proselytizing or whatever. And I'm sure there were some others off-world at the time. It's just, I don't know how we'd even find them. You can't exactly go putting mythosaurs all over the place and hoping for the best.
I'll think of something. There's gotta be some way. What was your dad's name?
A thought just hit me like a fucking
Din.
buzz.
No.
No, that wasn't it. A thought just hit me like a fucking buzz. Because I feel like she'd know. But, like, when you're 3, do you know your dad's name?
That's up to you, but...
It really depends.
Are your parents, when you're a child, are they not mom and dad?
I'm pretty sure that Jedi keep the records of where the Padawans come from.
Oh yeah, we'll just go to my old Jedi temple. That'll still be there.
Well, the information's not hidden from the Padawans.
No, that's what the comment is like, that'd still be there. I'm sure the Empire didn't destroy and or ransack that when they were killing all the people.
Well, Ben's
there.
saying that Rey at any point in her childhood could have, like, looked it up, and no one would have stopped her.
She thinks for a minute. You notice it takes her a second, and she's like, oh, God, Mana? I think? I don't know, he was...
You have a last name?
There's a pause, and she just slowly looks at Ash. And then it dawns on her. Mine.
Oh, well, what is your last name? I don't think you told me. Not everyone has last names, so, you know.
Oh, Akkan.
Gotcha. Well...
She gestures, because it dawns on her all of a sudden. She's like, it means parent. The word Buir, it means he's my dad.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No. I just, having a name is a start, Empire can't wipe everything off the face of the Hollow Knight, no matter how much they might try. So, I'll see what I can do. I actually have to go ask Hondo a question. I feel like I might be stretching it pretty thin, but it doesn't hurt to ask. If anyone's gonna know how to get around shit, it's a pirate.
Yeah, I can ask him if he knows anyone.
We can go ask him together if you'd like.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I have a question I have a plan formulating in my brain.
No, I am busy. He's playing a little game.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. he is playing a game, but then he loses. Oh, Degferk. I'm free now, and he turns the chair around.
He was playing Angry Lost Cats.
You watch your fucking language.
What do you need, my Mandalorian friend and Togruta friend?
She gestures to Ash to go first.
Alright, well, do you have any suggestions on how to contact someone discreetly to not get picked up on encoding shit?
You need a encoder and a dampener, something so people can't pick up. A direct line would be the best bet. You can establish those with lasers. But there are people like Sneeg here, and he gestures to the Gungan expert splicers. It's what they do. He says, yeah, boss.
No, I'm not unfamiliar.
I just pictured the Gungan, like, wearing the fucking, like, Matrix shades. I'm in.
Misa in.
It's the worst. Fuck you. Fuck yourself.
He's beginning to believe.
Awful. Fucking terrible. I hate that. How much... Well, I guess not even how much, huh? She just rubs the back of her neck. How... Do you know any other Mandalorians?
I've met a few. I know Jango Fett. He ran around in Mandalorian armor.
You see her face, like, just drop.
He's a bounty hunter. Damn good one.
He's not one of us.
Oh, I see. Oh, people wearing helmets, wearing breastplates, all over. Hard to tell. It's the way someone carries themselves.
Traditionally.
But they usually hang out on Mandalore. But I've never been there. Boring and hoity-toity, I've heard. Recently.
I was about to say she looks surprised.
In recent history.
I hate that. How easy is it to get on Mandalore?
I believe you did ask him this before. He said, "Oh, it's under Imperial control now. I don't go near the core of the mid very often anyway. I haven't tried.
How often do you go to the moon?
The moon might be a little easier. He pauses. I may or may not have heard people say, of course, people go there, see if there's some spare Beskar lying around. Nobody I've heard has succeeded.
In finding loose Beskar? Or...
Even getting close to the planet, as I said. There's a blockade.
A blockade?
Imperial Star Destroyers. Big triangle things.
She looks kind of confused. Why?
Probably to protect from people like me.
She looks like even more confused. I don't... There's somebody back home I wanted to contact. I don't even know what we would do to get there, but... And if it's
anything's possible. With the right ship, the right specs, the right know-how, you can slip through. Especially if you're not intending on hauling anything, you can slip in with something small.
Yeah. The other thing was, I wouldn't need to go back to the planet if we knew another Mando. But if you don't know anyone...
Nobody I'm close to. But I'm sure if you keep asking around, you're bound to find it. The galaxy is a surprisingly small place, I've learned, the more you live in it.
I feel like asking around about that's not smart.
Ask the right people, ask in the right way. As I said, anything's possible.
I guess. She just kind of sighs, a little defeated.
We'll figure it out.
It can't all be easy.
It's not gonna be, but I'm sure I'll figure something out.
This is a long shot. Do you know the name Mana Akkan?
Can't say I have.
No. She kind of sighs and she's like, yeah, I figured as much.
As I said, never even been in the neighborhood. Mandalorians are scary.
She kind of just like, yeah.
Don't need to tell me twice.
It's by design. But, she just kind of like runs a hand through her hair. Fucking sucks.
Listen, you've lived all this time, made it this far, you'll get to where you need to be eventually.
I guess.
Any tips about getting through Empire? Checkpoints, I guess? I'm sure you've had to skirt by a few. Chain codes, things like that. Any trade secrets you're willing to divulge a poor little Togruta like me?
Well, there are sensor dampeners. Can install on ships. Makes it so you're invisible. But also ways to fake your identification. Your registration. appear different, appear on the level, but again, takes professionals. Or the right know-how and enough credits.
I don't think we have any of that.
But
I'm
the good
smart.
thing about the Empire is, even though there's a lot more people checking, it's a lot less people that care. So, just takes a little bit of finesse.
She puts a hand on Ash's shoulder and goes, less that you're not smart and more that you're not a criminal.
Look, I'm with you guys now. I'm gonna have to start compromising somewhere, and if it's technology based, I might as well just lean all into it at this point.
I was not calling you dumb. I was just saying it takes a certain type of knowledge. I'm sure once you glean it, you'll be fine. But you'd have to find somewhere to get it.
I'll figure it out.
A certain, as the Zemnians say, je ne sais quoi.
No,
That
doesn't even work,
The
because
Twi'leks
that
would say
means-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Twi'leks, sorry.
Zemnian's supposed to be faux German.
That's
French.
why I said that's French. Good move. Nothing about that sentence was correct. You get no points and go to jail.
I'm already wanted by the Empire. Why stop now, I suppose?
Precisely. That's the spirit.
Listen, I know this is whose line is it anyways, and the points don't matter, but I think they do in this instance.
She's not gonna, I have to be the Swiss Army knife of utility here. So, you know.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Whatever.
It's worth asking.
That is all I wanted to do.
Can I check my stuff before we move on?
Yes,
That I picked up?
indeed. The data you glean from that, get you their navigational data. They stopped at a few things, but you understand their origin point, which must be Maz Kanata's castle.
Yeah.
But their manifold and their mission briefing has you understanding that where you guys were over the moon of Bulia, which right now is just in ruins. Nobody lives there. Nothing. Things used to live there, and it's kind of the briefing gives a long and short of it, but it's thought to be one of the early civilizations that found space travel. We know definitively in the history of the galaxy that Duros were the first, but there were others that followed independently. And in the manifolds was relics and what Maz hoped to be ancient navigational tools. But the fascinating thing about this civilization is no one really knows what happened to it. And it's even archaeologists' best efforts can't really figure out what the species looked like or what their deal was. Because there's just so little left. But that's what you get.
Interesting. Alright, I'm good.
Is everyone satisfied?
Before you kill us all, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied.
Yeah, a strange looking TIE fighter comes into hyperspace with you.
Oh,
What?
I was kidding.
No.
Great.
No, okay. I'm kidding.
Oh god, I was gonna fucking beat the shit out of you!
I was also in full panic mode because I'm TIE advanced.
Wouldn't it have sucked if it was a TIE Defender instead? But we're way too early in the timeline for Thrawn to be a part of the Empire proper.
Yeah. And you don't want to face off with TIE Defenders, so...
No, we don't. We really don't. They
We
are
really don't.
they are TIE fighters with hyperdrives and
shields.
actual shields.
But what does happen, we're going to set a scene, is after a day into the journey, Hondo's crew... Nyx, you probably do your thing again and prepare the rations in a nice, presentable, mixed flavor way. And Hondo even lets you use a little bit of his nice spices, and the crew is celebrating. They're down in the cargo hold, drinking, maybe dipping into the glitter spice. But during this time...
Ash is not down there.
Yeah, Hondo has saw it fit to, continue to man the ship, and he has had you all come up with him to just let his crew party, and he insisted that you learn the workings of a ship. If you're going to continue to live like this, You must know how to take position in the ship. You, and he points at Ash, you're the pilot. You can see it in
Well,
your
of
eyes.
course. I've flown a little bit. I mean, I'm from a planet that's real rocky to fly through. Pardon the pun, but I know what I'm doing.
Good.
I go and sit in the pilot seat.
Now, there are other things that can be done. Someone manning weapons.
Raestra raises her hand.
Nix was
the
about to raise his
Mandalorian.
hand and then puts it down.
The Mandalorian and weapons, I like it.
She looks at Nyx and she goes, "You remember last time."
That's fair.
There should always be a mechanic on hand for on-the-spot fixes.
Don't worry, Lemmy's got that.
Here's a little air donut. There's, of course, someone operating all the other subsidiary systems.
The what?
Oh, the sensors, the jammers, someone needs to be in charge of all that.
Oh. Alright, well,
And then,
I
of course,
suppose.
someone in charge of the shield systems.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, that's me. I'll do that.
And then the captain, who coordinates it all.
Cal, you want to take that role?
Has Cal led a battalion or a group of clones before?
I push him forward.
Duh.
Good.
Ash is the group leader, but Cal can be the coordinator.
Good. It takes a steady mind and
Yes,
a good firm voice. And he looks at Cal. You'll do.
Fucking owned.
Oh, take 12 psychic damage. Fuck.
Emotional damage.
Damn it.
Well, well, that's glad. I'm glad I can
Contribute.
I'm glad I can make up for you by having the steady mind between us.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
We're about to come out of hyperspace in a cute little shortcut that only I know of. And we can recalculate and jump back in while you guys learn the systems. And it's only like a few moments after he says that and you guys like sit in your seats. Nyx, your like gunner seat is kind of under Hondo's throne. And it, like the Millennium Falcon turret.
That would be me. That's my job.
Oh,
That would
sorry,
be Ray.
Raestra. You're right. Jesus. Wow. Anyway.
It's late.
I'm the technician.
Yeah, you can be. Oh, did you offer the shields or the ancillary systems?
I think I took the technician, the technical. So I think that's what,
Okay.
yeah. Defense
The
strategy.
technician.
That's where the shields are.
Yes.
I am the coordinator. I believe. I think.
And are you? Who is going to be the operator? Hondo will do it in this moment. And it's just a few moments after you all get settled in your sheets that the streaks of blue turn into stars, and ahead of you is just like blank, empty space. There is like nothing out here, but it's only like a moment after you emerge that the sensors that Hondo sat behind start beeping loudly, and there are red lights. And Hondo says, "What the crap?"
Is that supposed to happen?
What?
He hits a few buttons. Many pings out to our east, and there's something comes up. So the windows are more like screens, and they like turn to the side to show you. And off in the distance, just like kind of horizon, making up the horizon, are several triangle-shaped ships that look small now.
Oh, God.
Those were the triangle ships you were talking about
What the
earlier.
grief is the Empire doing here? And the
What system are we in?
it's nothing. It doesn't even have a name. And it's something else beeps where Hondo is operating, and he like tries to hit a button, but it's like something overrides, and there's a crisp voice that says, "Unidentified vessel, identify yourself and prepare for boarding." And you see like little dots coming closer to you, and you hear,
Is it my boyfriend? Is it my boyfriend, Jarrus?
No, it's not.
No.
Oh, come on. You got my hopes up.
He's on Coruscant.
I just thought he might have got a promotion. Can't I root for my boy?
But
I
Yes.
ship Nyx and Jarrus. Please provide us with fan art.
It's his greatest compatriot, Lawful.
Anyway, these flat-winged ships come into view. A myriad of them. There's a lot. And you hear the...
Flat-winged?
Yes. A little circle with two protruding kind of flat panels that are vertical. And you hear as they get closer.
You can say TIE fighters, Justin.
We can say, yeah.
And that's where we'll end.
Star Wars First Resistance is a live play Dungeons & Dragons podcast using the Star Wars 5e system, which can be accessed for free at sw5e.com. Our podcast features the player talent of BubblingBrooke as Ashaa-kai, Silver Keyblade as Calchin Phimiir, Ben Lepard as Nyx, HitenNoRuroni as Raestra Akkan, and this Justin as the Game Master. You can find links to our social medias in the description. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please, we would love it if you left a positive review, commented, and shared this with your friends. We can't thank you enough for listening to us goof around and tell stories, and we hope you'll join us on next episode. Until then, may the Force be with you.